6 months, that is how long the house had been crying at the wind, not the wood. Not the roof, baby. Every single night Jackson Thorne stopped counting. After the first 100, after that time stopped meaning anything. These blurred nights, stretched sleep, became something other men talked about, something he remembered like an old song but never heard anymore. 3 in the morning again, the cry came sharp then desperate. A small animal caught in a trap. Jackson's eyes opened before his mind did. Be cows. They never really said not full not, says Maggie D to pushed himself upright. Back a king neck, stiff boots still on, had stopped taking them off weeks ago. Didn't see the point, you don't undress when life keeps punching you. Cabin was cold moonlight, leaking through cracks in the boards, dust floating in silver linens, kinda quiet. That makes your ears ring to tear. It was again like green, like her heart might splat. Stewed walk, slow very step, heavy like walking underwater. Floor creaked same, board same sound every night. Same war lifted her from the crib, neat body, hot king face, red from screaming, little fists tight like she was fighting the whole world. He pressed her against his chest. It's alright, Papa's hero ways, the same words always. Useless, didn't calm, never did, not for him. Not for anyone. 6 months, 37 women, 37 trees, 37 goodbyes. They all said the same thing. She cries too much. This place is too lonely. I can't handle it. I'm sorry, Mr. Thorne, sorry. He hated that wordsery. Didn't cook, didn't clean, didn't help him sleep, didn't bring Maggie back. Stepped outside, a cold desert air slapped his fast as stars everywhere. Too many, like God had spilled salt across the sky. He used to show Maggie the star sister, point at the makeup story streams. Bliss just stood there, rocking a screaming Babylon 20 miles from Prescott. Nothing around, no neighbors, no help, just wind, dust, and memory. Samadamis wondered if this was punishment for surviving the war, for coming home when better men didn't, for wanting land, for wanting a family. Because God sure had a funny way of rewarding hard work. Lily cried harder, voice breaking to neat, breath catching, like she was calling for someone else and not him. Amash didn't know the word yet, but he could hear it anyway. His chest tightened, same way it did every night, same way it did when he watched Maggie, fatter-skinned, Pally's tired hand cold in his. Fine, Hirsch whispered. Find the Apache woman, fine, I know for Lily then. She was gone, just like that, like someone blew out a candle. Never found her, never even knew where to start. A pig woman that could mean half the territory, so he tried hiring help instead. And every time he left home, said the house felt haunted. On said the baby was cursed. On left in the night without a word and lasted 6 horse 647. Jackson stopped asking, stopped hoping, started accepting. Maybe this was just life now. Maybe some men weren't meant to rest. Skylight net on, creeping in, baby still crying, his head pounding, hands numb, heart empty. Then something Changita sound faint far away. Hoover slow west teen Britter, not town folk, not cattle. Hands different to calm. Jackson squinted into the rising soon, a shadow moving across the plain alone in a wagon. So please, just a woman on a spotted horse riding like she had all the time in the world. He reached for his revolver. Out here any stranger could mean trouble. But she didn't ride like trouble, didn't rush, didn't hesitate, just came straight toward the cabin like she already knew where she was going. Closer, glow strewn. He could see her clearly, dark hair tied back, weathered skin, buckskin cloth, esquire eye size. That had seen too much. Pachesh stopped 10 feet from the porch, didn't speak, didn't move, just looked at him, then at Lily, still crying. Long silence went brushing the grass, horse breathing slow thin. She said its off count of words, I am here now, not can I help not? Oh, you need work, Nath, how much do you pay? Justy, I am here now, like it was already dead like. She bell and Jackson blink watch stepped down from the horse gracefully. The ground respected Harrier child creased, say bit, not afraid, not sick, just lonely. Lone lithe word hit him harder than anything, because it wasn't Lily, it was him. What do you want? Ask it, suspicion tore and Terry said your wife Maggie knew her, his heart stopped you. What will winters, August snowstorms on the fay trails would have Dee Dee carried her to shelter stayed. The night spoke of you, spoke of this ranch, spoke of her. Babbage asked me if she ever needed help, though come Jackson couldn't breathe like the world tilted like. Maggie's voice reached across death. Me name is Ines Sedani, I am here. No step closer, slow, careful, approaching a wounded animal. May I hold her? Every instinct screamed no, but something in Lily changed. The crying softened it, then stopped just like that for the first time in 6 months' solemnity. Fingers reaching toward Ian Alex, she recognized her like she'd been waiting. Jackson felt something crack inside his chest, not pain, not grief, something else. Something warm, something danger. Al Shapiana took Lily gently, no fuss, no tricks, just calm, slow breathing. Soft humming, and Lily rested her head in her shoulder like she'd found home. Jackson stood there staring, unable to understand. 37 women failed in this stranger. This quiet Apache woman walks and says 5 words, and his daughter finally sleeps. Ayana looked at him, simply certain her. Is water Shasket, where is broom, where is kitchen? Begin swallow it, still shock it begin. What life has say Dan, just like that house that I had felt like a grave for 6 months, feeling I felt like a home again. Morning came different, not louder, not brighter, just the phones noticed it. Before he even opened his eyes, the house was quiet, not the heavy dead quiet he had grown used to. Not the lonely kind. This one felt soft, tell like breathing. For a moment he thought he was dreaming back out. For 6 months every sunrise began the same way, with Lily screaming in desperate broken cries like the world hurt her just for existing. But now nothing lay still, a standing or pounding waiting her. The crying would come in a second, it did it. Instead heard something else, a sound he had almost forgotten. Humming low again, like wind moving through grass, like a song without words. Sat up slowly, back stiff, head heavy, still wearing yesterday's shirt, still smelling like smoke and sweat. Humming drifted from the kitchen. Instead I calico. Whoever made it had all the time in the world. Stu walked toward the doorway and stopped. Diana stood by the stove, morning light pouring through the window, dust floating gold around her. Moved quietly, measured dory water, heating milk, stirring something in a small iron pan like she had lived there forever, like she knew exactly where everything belonged. And Lily was not crying. She lay wrapped in a blanket basket near the fireplace, open, watching Ianak. We had the careful little hands waving slowly in the air like she was listening to that humming like it belonged to her. Jackson blinked twice, then rubbed his eyes. Still there, still real. 6 months, and this was the first morning his daughter didn't wake the dead. Diana noticed him, did not jump, did not smile. The big just nodded once. Good morning. Her voice was low, soft like water over stone, cleared his throat. Morning. He looked at Lily again. Yaushish didn't cry. Ayana glanced down. Mosmalesh slept on night, and that word hit him like a punchful knife. Had forgotten what that even meant. He stepped closer, carefully, afraid the moment would shadowy turn. Her head, saw Hyman. Instead of crying, smiled at tennis lapoo. Real. Jackson's chest tightened at heart like something squeezed his heart from the incident. Hadn't seen that smile in months, maybe ever. How, whispered. Diana shrugged lightly. Not magic, just listening. Listings. No, picked Lily up slowly, supported her head, rocked her onto gentle, natural breathing. Babies speak, say, just not with words. Jackson watched excellently. Showed him touch here, soft, not tight, not scared. She demonstrated, and resting on Lily's back, slow circles like tracing clouds, and she hummed again, some low tone, same rhythm like a heartbeat. Lily's eyes drooped head almost instantly. Jackson stared. 47 women, and none of them knew this. Where did you learn? They'd ask. Diana looked out the window, far away from mothers, from grandmothers, from nights under open sky, from holding babies while the men hunted, from being awake when others slept. Their voice carried memory, heaving memory. How, mind you, started then stopped. It did not want to ask, finished it for him. 3 his stomach dropped. 3 children gone were say quite simply. Drama is truth. A pig wars at the shoulder, and hers did not matter. Death looks the same from every side. Jackson nodded slowly, because he knew that to wealth, while lonely people standing in the same kitchen, bound by loss, neither of them could fix anything. Strange happened, and something small but heavy for the first time since Maggie did not feel alone, and not fixed, not happy, just not alone. Ayana placed Lily back in the basket, and the Hamid said, you are thin. Almost laughed. No one had said that to him in months. They handed him a platique from bread cafe contando. Bernadette Russia sat, took a bite, closed his eyes. It tasted like home, like mornings before everything broke. He didn't realize he was crying until a drop hit the tabliana. Pretended not to know. T-switch somehow made it worse and better at the same time. Days passed. Slockwization moved through the house like water, never forcing, never loud, just fixing things, weeping, grinding, torn cloth stacking. wood cooking meals that didn't taste like ashen, literally changeless, crying more, sleeping more, looking around more, tiny smell of summertimes. Jackson would come inside and find Ayana sitting by the window on her chestbed, asleep, sunlight across their face, peaceful like. A painting ranch changed to notice small things. He had stopped seeing the floor cleaned there, smelling like herbs. Instead of smoke water buckets, filled tools, organized blanks folded. The place no longer felt like a battlefield, it felt like a home again. At night, Ayana sang low songs in Apache words he didn't understand but didn't need. Old songs felt older than the land, older than grief, like something that existed before. Sadness slept through every one. Jackson sat outside most evenings watching the sky burn orange, listening. Sometimes caught himself smiling with it, realizing that scared him because hope is dangerous. Hope makes you think tomorrow might be better, and life has a cruel habit of punishing men who hope too much. On afternoon, while fixing the fence, he saw dust rising on the north trail. Riders to Mintown, hats down, posture town. Troubled, he slowed near the gate. It did not wave, did not smile, just stared long hard at the cabinet. Ayana hanging cloth aside, Lily sleeping in the shadow. Jackson felt that old tension crawl up his spinny. On rider spattered, his horse said something Jackson couldn't harbor. It didn't need to, because he knew towns don't like what they don't understand, and they fear what they can't control. And a white rancher living peacefully with an Apache woman raising a child together, that wasn't something small towns forgave. That if any Guyana noticed it too, looked at the horizon longer than usual, eyes sharp like a hunter. Sensing will vestibule coming, said softly. Jackson nodded, yeah, he figured. Long silence, then she said, if trouble come, Essie will leave his heart. Drop it, no, said fast to fast, looked at him, sir, present this. Is your home mesh, Sadie, bring danger? Jackson stepped closer, voice rough, you brought life back into this place. That ain't dangerous. Lance went brushing the grass, and somewhere deep inside, he realized something that scared him more than the riders. He didn't just need her help anymore, he needed her, and that was far more dangerous than any gun in town. The wind changed, first not louder, not colder, just heavier. Jackson noticed it while fixing the north fence. The air felt tight, like the sky was holding its breath, like something unseen was watching, waiting, had lived in the desert long enough to trust. Small sickness animals went quiet, birds lifted early, even the cattle stayed close to the barn. Storm coming, thought it wasn't clouds, it was people. Be noon, dust rose again on the road, some trail, same direction, town this time, or riders 4 than 6 then. 8 too many for coincidence, 8 too many for a friendly visit. Jackson set the hammer down, slow wiped his hands on his jeans, looked toward the cabin. Ayana was outside, hanging washed clothes, sunlight catching the white cloth, making it cloudily, lay in a small wooden cradle beside her, quit watching the sky, and fingers grabbing at life, peaceful to peaceful like. A painting, will fall, felt it in his gut, same feeling he used to get before ambushes. Back in the war, the cold twist that whispers something bad is coming. Walked toward the house, it did not rush, did not run, running scares children. Ayana saw his visage. Didn't need to. Riders said, yeah, how many do Minish? Nodded on Seth and did something strange. Picked Lily, pressed her cheek against the baby's head, closed her eyes just for a second, like memorizing her, like preparing. Jackson didn't like that, not one, but intensity cleaned the rifle, slow steadying, because he wanted to fight, but because men with families don't get the luxury of hoping things stay peaceful. Hooves grew louder, closer, dist rolling across the yard. Then they were there, men, some ranch, handsome town workers, 2 faces. Jackson recognized a well, Hank Miller, big mouth, small heart, and Sheriff Colinsteyer, eyes always stuck between right and easy. He didn't dismounted and smiled and waved, just stared like they were looking at something rotten. Hunk spat, well, I'll be damned, it's still keeping her. Jackson leaned against the porch post, count Stillner, give them fear first. Shane, a dog, Satan top like that, and laugh, sounds like you forgot what she is. Jackson's jaw tightened. I know exactly what she is, so you owe it. Thought a person silence ye off and tore simple truth makes hate nerve out. Sheriff cleared his throat to kneel about complaints. Jackson hated that Tenetti fake official one complaints about what about her folks, uneasy kids, scared people, talking tau Kingley's, talking people who ain't never helped him on, suddenly cared, who lived on his land. This is my ranch, ye say me land me house. Hank leaned forward, yeah, but town's got rules. Jackson laughed on Sickleton's. When nobody answered, Diana stepped out then slow. Quiet, not hiding it, running, just standing beside him like she belonged there because she did. Lily in her arms, sleeping, small face pressed against her chest. Man with quiet, handsome thing. Every time story in their heads didn't match the reality in front of them. She didn't look dangerous, didn't look savage, didn't look like some enemies. Looked like a mother holding a child. Hank shifted, still angry but less certain. You really trust her around that baby? Jackson didn't even blink. Yeah. You crazy, Mabel's again, wind brushing the grass, horse tails flicking, fleas just dancing between Butcher. If Syed ain't here to fight, just people worried thee. Say you're changing, say you're forgetting who you are. Jackson stared at him long hard. Who I am, he repeated, looked at Lily, then at Nathan, back at the Ritter. See my man, trying to raise his daughter, that's who I am. No one spoke. If she helped my kid sleep, he living. I don't care what blood she got, and muttered something cold-hearted in matter. Sheriff tipped his hat. Just be careful, town don't like differentin'. They turned a road off, dust trailing behind them, but the message stayed heavy, clear. They weren't done at night. Jackson couldn't sleep then, though Lily did, even though the house was quiet. He sat on the porch, rifle across his lap, watching the dark. Kayana came out, sat beside him, close not touching, just close enough to feel warmth. You think they come back? She asked. Jabega Gurpri Poscrickets Winting Coyotethan. She said something soft, almost losty. Do not want to bring war to your home. He looked at her, moonlight across her face, eyes tired but strong. You didn't bring, I say people bring their own wars inside their heads. Nodded slowly, understanding the cabin. Lily stirred any noise, half cry, half dream. Diana stood at Stanley went instant like gravity pulled her. Jackson watched her go. Something hit him hard. Unexpected wasn't protecting her anymore. They were protecting each other, and that scared him more than any reader, because losing someone you care about, that's worse than any bullet. Little when the fire burned low, walked inside. Diana sat in a rocking chair, Lily asleep on her chest, soft humming, same song, some slow rhythm, leaned against the doorway watching. The house glowed, warm shadows dancing on the walls like memories coming back to live her. A moment they forgot, the writers forget the town, forget the feral he saw was familiar, not by blood, not by law, not by paper, speed choicing that was stronger than anything. But outside, far beyond the hills, lanterns burned late in town, and talking whispers spreading plans. Forming backouts, some people would rather destroy pieces than accept something they don't understand, and Jackson knew deep in his bones the real storm still hadn't arrived. The storm came at night, not thunder, not lightning. It really came with fire. Jackson woke to the smell, first smoking out chimney, smoking out cooking smoke, wrong smoke, bitter sharp, burning with his eyes open, heart already racing like his body knew before his midnight city. Horse screaming, cattle running, boots hitting dirt, Vicestu, many voiced English shattered. Was already moving, rifle in hand, barefoot on cold board. Sienna stood in the middle of the room, Lily in her arms, wide awake and not panicking, just watching aesthetically. She lived through this kind of night before. The Kamesh said softly, yeah, answer it through the window. Range flicker, fire barn thee, set the damn barn on fire. Ranger hit him hard, hot will bit beneath your fur, because fire doesn't care who you read eats everything. Voices outside, a drunk marrying to teach him. Jackson's jaw tightened. Town boy scowards couldn't win with words, so they brought fire. Returned to I and Aste. He'd sit about the back door if anything happened. Tried north, take Lilith and wage. Stared at him long, deep, like memorizing his face. I'd come as Sadie'll be right behind. It was a lean. They both knew it, but some lies or kindness stepped outside. A heat hit his face. Barn already half gone, flames roaring up into the sky, sparks flying like angry stars. 3 men near the fence wall, more by the true goal, kicking over tools like children, breaking toys. Shank's voice carried over the fire, told you he'd learn. Jackson lifted the rifle, didn't aim to kill, just fired into the dirt. Closer reel. Class's sound cracked through the night. Code off the hillsman, froze and edged off my land. A shouted voice raw like something for Aldi laughy dat. First then they saw his face and stopped it, because this wasn't the tired rancher. They knew this was a father and father. Said danger housing at their shot. Closer right by Hank's boot, dirt sprayed next. One Amos in. Jackson said quiet, did serious something change it mob. Courage fades fast when bullets get real. Sheriff wasn't Terreno Lodge's coward. Shank backed his horse. This ain't over. Jackson didn't blink. It is tonight long silence, fire crackling when pushing Smokemen shifting tenon. By one they turn a drone off-net hero is just bullies without numbers but the damage. Was Donna Barn going half the hay burned fence? Broken-eyed scared Jackson dropped the rifle hand shaking now adrenaline leaving her hand inside Anna. Was there by the top levelly asleep against her chest even through the noise even. Through breath baby slept like she trusted the world again you heard Iana. Ask annoying ossifilligence. Something unexpected happened and Iana stepped forward pressed her forehead to his chest. For a second not romance not need just connection issue what it say. Or Olivia let out a breath he didn't know. He was holding for 6 months she had been drowning and didn't even know with fire outside slowly. The just embers nored soft like. The last anger leaving the night morning came slow graves McQuink stood in the yard looking at the ruined shelf his. Work gone a months of effort burned a bit something strange happened and it didn't hurt like he expected backhouse. When he turned the cabin door open Ediana stepped out Lily on her hip blanket wrapped tight sunlight. Catching her hair and Lily laughed at inebriety. Real laugh and sudden liberant chiffons of it mattered. Because the house wasn't empty and a moral liturgics fixed, well ye cow neighbors didn't come down. Didn't help didn't matter stop expecting them Toyana planted herbs near the porch and fresh cloth swept ash away. Like rebuilding wasn't even a question just something you do because life keeps moving thick. Evening is sad outside small fire queet sky stars returningly between them wrapped like a Bertoni hand gripping Jackson's. Finger wouldn't let go Yana hummed again some songs some soft rhythm Jackson stared at the flames then at. Harry you could leave he say town won't stop how always look at you wrongs didn't stop humming didn't. T look a why he have been looked at. Wrong my whole life fesh sados not scare me long pausathin. She a dead but leaving you too that scares me his throat tightened dart you stay he asking like a kid like. Someone afraid to hope nodded simpler am here know some word saying calm but this time T. Meant something bigger and it helped not temporary not working Jackson looked up at the sky stars. Burning bright cold air soft fire warm baby safe woman beside Hyman for the first time. Since Maggie died since the crying started since the house turned hollow. Didn't feel broken or felt whole a difference but wholesome Adam's family doesn't come the way. You expect some it rides and slow throw dust says. 5 quiet words and changes everything guy and arrested her head lightly against his shoulderly. Sleeping between the fire crackling low in Jackson Thorne. Finally understood something simpler hadn't lost everything. He had just been waiting for some I am here now.